What's going on, everybody? I'm back out in the garage wrenching on my Talion here and working on the eBay shock still. In the previous video, I failed to mention oil weight. I have 2000 CST in here. Right now, that's all I have, except for a 55 weight, but I'm not putting it in here. And I have the M2C shock pistons inside here, not the caps. I still have the stock caps, eBay shock caps on here. I'm liking these shocks a lot, and the one thing that happened was this: my last bash, or my first bash, this shock keeper or spring keeper came off on this one here. So obviously I don't have a spare, but I got a ton of spare Arma shock spring keepers. I got a ton of those. So what I did is I took this one. I had a excuse me. Obviously the stock shocks being 4mm, these are bigger, 44.5 millimeter, and so I had to take my Dremel tool, grind out the center. Now this diameter here on this rod end is just about the same diameter as the holder here where the stock shocks slide into. So what I did is I found a washer. I'm going to use them on both. I put a washer on here and then slid this on and put the spring over it. Now this, it hopefully won't pop off. I think one of the big reasons, let me get this back on. One of the big reasons why this one popped off on this shock was this is the depth right here is a lot thinner. I mean, I think it's about an 1/8 inch difference shorter than this one. I mean, you could visibly see the difference in the length of the keeper there. But so the thing of it is too, I was gonna crank these up, the spring tension, but seeing how this is almost a 1/4 inch, about a 1/4 inch difference. I think I'm gonna leave them alone. I wasn't gonna crank them up too high, probably a 1/4 inch if that. So I'm gonna leave it be, but I'm gonna do the same on the front and crank the springs up a little bit. But I'm liking these shocks. One thing I do like too, there's quite a bit more oil capacity in here, and that's something I like. And but like I said, this isn't no scientific research here. This is just going off by feel and what I'm doing. And the only thing the last bash is they felt pretty soft. Well, not pretty soft. They felt a lot firmer than the stock Arma shocks. So I'm going to give these a whirl, get them back together. I'm going to go ahead and take this one. As you can see, I got my washer on there. I don't know if you can see that. It's stuck. But anyway, that's on there. So I'm going to grind this other shock cap out there, and then spring keeper, grind that little groove out in there so I can slide that other shock shaft in there and put it together, and I'm going to bash. Another thing I like is it seems to keep this away from the drive shaft quite a bit more. I know it's kind of not perfect there, but there we go. It'll keep it away from the drive shaft. There is a bit of an issue on the front I'm seeing. I don't think it's too bad. If you turn around and look at it here, it's pretty close. It stays that way. Obviously, if it moves back and forth, it'll rub. I'm thinking about, I'm going to see how it goes today, but I'm thinking about doing the same thing to these, just to pick it up out of the way. But we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I mean, for what I have invested in these, I'm not worried about it. Well, everybody, I got the rears taken care of. Got the Arma spring keepers put into place. I was going to go ahead and do the front. I'm going to tighten these spring collars up. I started working on this side. Noticed this arm wouldn't go up and down with the shock on here. Lo and behold, I find out the shock shaft's bent. It ain't bent a little bit either. This is wadded up pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna fix this. I don't like trying to straighten these once they're bent. I could try it, but I don't know. I don't like doing that. I've tried it before on the stock Arma shocks, and not a fan of it. But we'll see what happens. I may or may not do anything with these anymore. I might be scrapping them. I'm probably leave the back alone. I don't know what I'm going to do with the front. I got quite a few different shocks from different vehicles or different Arma vehicles. I know I can make something work. So I am going to see what I got and see what happens. So, all right, everyone. What I ended up doing was using a stock rear Talion shocks. I moved this the mount up to one, so it kind of flatten it out a little bit. I cranked the screws, the shock springs up a little bit. I had them all the way down here. I have 2000 CST oil in here. I do have aluminum rod ends. The one thing, this is where it sits right now, with no weight on it and just the suspension maxed out. Once you push down on it, you know, it comes back to a normal ride height. I believe this is probably where it'll sit once I get the wheels and a battery and body on here. One thing I want to make clear, I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I wanted a heavier suspension. I hate to say heavier, but I guess that'd be the right term. I wanted a heavier suspension that can hold the weight of the aluminum. You know, it's probably easier to tell you what's not aluminum on here than what is. And I just didn't like the stock shocks. It kept, I could go around a corner and the chassis would just bottom out. You know, I wouldn't even jump it, and the whole chassis would be green from, you know, scraping across the grass. And I'm not trying to get rid of the chassis slap on jumps. I just want something that can hold the chassis up, or the whole RC up, a little bit better. And I don't want to get into a ride height like this. Not on this Talion, I should say. I don't want that. I still would like to get something closer to the stock ride height. I know beefing the suspension up, it's going to ride a little bit higher, and I'm okay with it. You know, riding something like this once everything's put on. But I don't want it riding like this. You know, with the battery and wheels and body on here. If you want something like this, I'd be better off just getting a Creighton, but that's not what I want. Wow, I can tell a real difference with these rear Talion shocks I put on the front of this. I could tell a difference. And the rear shocks I adjusted to on the back. Well, I changed this big time. See, the front's still sagging, but all right, everyone, that's going to be it for now. When I was changing camera angles, I wanted to mount the camera on the ramp, and the RC started taking off on me, so I'm not sure what was going on with that. I know I forgot about it, but I had issues with my controller last fall. See, you don't know what's going on here, so I completely forgot about it. We'll see what's going on. I got some investigating to do, but it's all right. I got to clean this thing up and check it out and see what's going on. But yeah, I did notice a difference driving this. The front end did sag a little bit, but that's probably just from a couple of the jumps I did. But I'm not gonna pass judgment on this yet, so we'll see what happens. Get a little more runtime in it, and I'll make a judgment call from there. But I'm gonna leave it alone for right now, and we'll see what happens. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and I hope everybody's staying safe, and we'll talk to you soon.